ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Louie? Yeah.
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Thursday Night Football Overtime. AFC North Family Business. And if these two teams say they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, woo-wee, that's some good old-fashioned family business. My goodness, that was some good football right there. I've advocated for all Thursday night games to be division games. Now, I don't know if there's a division game every week in the NFL, but the NFL can make that come to fruition if they wanted to, because the product is just better when the two teams know one another. And this was high-level football. If you want my humble opinion, and I know this is not going to be received well, especially by Steelers fans, I don't care. These are the two best teams in that division because, again, it always comes back to the quarterback. Those two teams have one of them ones. And when you have one of them ones, this is what happens, right? Joe Burrow over 400 yards passing. Lamar Jackson almost 300 yards passing. Both quarterbacks, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a damn show put on tonight for all to see in a 34-35 classic. It rivals the first game between these two teams, 41-38 overtime, right? I mean, these two teams play each other incredibly close. Lamar now 10-1 versus the Cincinnati Bengals, so he always seems to find a way to win these games. But I told you guys I was hesitant to pick the Ravens to win this game. It was not going to be easy because November Joe, or as they call him, Jovember, is different. 5 touchdowns last week, 4 more this week, no interceptions in either game. So that's 9 touchdowns, no interceptions in the month of November for Joe Burrow. But unfortunately, that should net you 2 wins, and you should be 2-0. Instead, you're 1-1. And now 4-6 on the season. Ravens are 7-3, and now sit a half game behind actually, they sit a half game, I guess, ahead, of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Anyway, at 7-3, they're right there knocking on the door behind the 6-2 Steelers. Obviously, they play on Sunday, and so we'll see what happens there. But this was fun to watch. So many layers, so many things to kind of tap into here. Almost don't know where to start. I think the best thing to do is start at the end and work our way backwards. A lot of people are going to talk about the, non-calls, the holding on Mike Gesicki. Yep, it was holding. The personal foul penalty that wasn't called on Joe Burrow. Yep, it was a personal foul. But at the end of the day, my mantra and my motto, don't leave it to chance. Don't leave it in the hands of the officials because you can get got. And I always tell you, as long as they call it equally on both sides, which they did, I'm cool. Like, there weren't a lot of penalties in this game, and I like it that way. The penalties that we saw in the game were mostly, again, and it's the same thing I've been saying to Commanders fans this season when they complain about officiating. I hadn't had a lot of issues with officiating, other than I think the Ravens game when we played Baltimore. But the bottom line is a lot of these calls we saw tonight were black and white calls. A lot of them were, right? Illegal man downfield, face mask, things that are blatantly obvious, right? There weren't a ton of subjective penalty calls, pass interference, this, that, and the third, legal contact, that kind of stuff. They let them play. My biggest gripe down the stretch for the Cincinnati Bengals is they had no answers for Uno all night. Jamar Chase was the best player on the field that was a non-quarterback tonight. And if I'm going down, if my ship's going to sink, I'm sinking with number one getting the target with the game on the line. If they're going to ISO him one-on-one with whomever, I'm taking my shot with one, and I'm living or dying with one making a play or not making a play. They're going to have to put two defenders on him and blatantly take him away in order for me to not throw it to one with the game on the line on a 2-point conversion. Sorry, not sorry. They haven't covered that man all night long. All night long, all night, all night long, all night, all night. Did that man go over 2 bills tonight? Feels like he went over 2 bills tonight. 264 for that man. 264 and 3 scores, right? 264, 11 catches, 264 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I'm going down with number one getting the target with the game on the line. Sorry. They had one-on-one outside. They called a damn timeout. For what? I'm going to number one, bro. Unless you show up and I break the huddle and you treat him like a gunner on special teams and you got 2 dudes lined up in front of him, unless that's the coverage, I'm going to one. Whether it's a back shoulder fade, a slant, or a traditional fade to the back corner, whatever the case may be, you ain't going to run a defender out there late. Because if I see one-on-one and you don't have a guy already posted up, oh, it's back shoulder fade. No worries. I'm going to fake the slant, back shoulder fade, stop it. Because I don't think you can. I'm not throwing the ball to Tanner Hudson with the game on the line. Have you gone mad? I'm not running a pivot route. I'm not running a whip route for Tanner Hudson with the game on the line. Where's the psychological sense in that? You need to wash your face and get your mind right. What's wrong with you? So let's start there. Before we start blaming the officials, calls that they didn't make, let's start there. 11 catches, 264, 3 touchdowns. Who you calling with the game on the line? Seems really simple to me. I'm shocked he didn't get the call. That's where I start. Lamar Jackson is a bad man. Joseph R. Burrow is a bad man. We had some bad men on the loose tonight. Again, it just looks different when you got one of them ones. It just looks different, man. Joe stood in there, took a beating tonight. Joe was getting crushed. Joe stepped up. Joe stepped through. Joe made throws. Joe made plays. Still wasn't enough. Cincinnati's defense has been asked all year long, and it was asked again tonight. Now, I will say, in their defense, and I feel somewhat bad for them, because it's amazing. I was watching this game. It's 21-7. Cincinnati's dominating this game. So much so that Ravens fans are booing. They're booing their hometown faithful. They're booing them. And I said to myself, on the play before, I said, man, I could see Chase Brown fumbling the damn ball. And he didn't fumble on that play. And I said, maybe I'm just tripping. They need a turnover, though. And I could see that Chase Brown. I've been on this Bengals run game or lack thereof all season long, and I said, the shit ain't good enough. They really miss Joe Mixon. Bad. And then they bring in, obviously, Khalil Herbert. Tonight was his first game. They just traded for him. So, quick turnaround, hard to really, get him involved tonight. They put him in. The one play they put him in, he fumbles the handoff. They said, get your ass out. Just get out. And they never put him back in the game after that. I don't think, at least. He didn't touch the ball again. I know that much. So it was pretty much the Chase Brown show. And the very next play after I said that to myself, I can see Chase Brown fumbling. Marlon Humphrey lawnmowed that bitch out. Just went in and lawnmowed that bitch out of there. And that was the spark. Man, it was crazy to watch Uncle Mo after that fumble. Uncle Mo sat up in his seat. He started to get up, and the Bengals said, oh. Wait, where you going, man? What you need? Uncle Mo said, I need some ranch combos and some ranch cool nuts. And I'll stay right where I'm at. But you better go get it fast. The Bengals ran as fast as they could to the nearest convenience store and came back with some nacho cheese combos and some cool ranch cool nuts. And Uncle Mo said, what is this? Combos and cool nuts. He said, I asked for ranch. They said, they ain't have ranch. He said, oh, well, you don't have me. He got up, moseyed on across the field. Boy, that momentum is a sumbitch in the NFL. It is, in sports in general, momentum is crazy. You see it in baseball. You get 1-2 out hit, and then the next thing, you know, you get a walk, you get another hit, and then all of a sudden with 2 outs, you done gave up 9 runs with 2 outs. It's a hit after another hit out. It's just crazy, right? Basketball, you're up 21. They go on a run. You know, basketball's a game of runs anyway, but you go on this crazy run, right? And you got to call a timeout to try to stop it. But sometimes the damage is, you know, it just snowballs, right? But it's nothing like momentum in football because you can be dominating a game like the Bengals were tonight. Absolutely dominating a game. And this man fumbles the ball, and the game was never, it didn't feel at any point like the Ravens were going to win the game tonight until Chase Brown fumbled the football. It was at that point that the Ravens offense came alive. Lamar makes the crazy run down the sidelines, right? Gets them down to the 1. They get into the end zone with Derrick Henry, and all of a sudden they're back in the game. Obviously, once the momentum shifts like that, once Uncle Mo gets up, walks over to the other sideline, you already know what it is, right? We've seen this movie so many times before, so you already knew what was going to happen. They go 3 and out. Ravens get the ball back. 80. Well, I don't think they went 3 and out, but they ended up punting the football. And Lamar Jackson throws a simple out on a 3rd down to Tylan Wallace. And 84 yards later, this man's in the end zone. It's just like, can't make a tackle. Another guy misses a tackle. Everybody else kind of lets up on the play, which is why, you know, defensive coordinators always scream 11 hats to the football, never stop on a play until the whistle is blown, till the play is done. And those guys just assume, oh, they're going to push him out of bounds. Oh, yeah, he'll push him out of bounds. Nobody pushed him out of bounds. He tiptoes the sideline beautifully, doesn't step out of bounds, scores a touchdown. And just like that, it's 21-20. And then Justin Tucker, who used to be just incredible and automatic, is no longer the case, misses the extra point. He is human. And he's missed plenty of kicks from 50 plus this season. So he's not the same. And every great kicker has one of these years. Harrison Butker had a year like that, I think 2 years ago. Harrison Butker wasn't himself. Harrison Butker is back to being one of the, if not the best kicker in football. It happens to the best of them. All right. Every kicker has a year where you go, what the? Justin Tucker, he was due. Still great, but he missed. It's 21-20, not tripping. But of course, you see what's going on with the momentum at this point. All right. So the Bengals obviously don't score again. Ravens get the football. They go for it on 4th down, as a matter of fact. Don't get it. I think they went for it on 4th down about 5 times tonight, it felt like. They came in on a mission. They knew what the assignment was tonight, did Cincinnati. Look, we know what we got to do. We played them in week 5. We saw what that was. We know what we got to do. They're the number 1 scoring offense in the league for a reason. We know what we got to do tonight. 24 ain't going to cut it tonight. Although it might have if Chase Brown doesn't fumble the damn football. But they knew if we're going to win this game, we're going to have to score 30 plus. Unfortunately for them, their defense has been ass all season long. And this is why I couldn't. If their defense had just been marginal this season, slightly below average, I'd have picked the Bengals to win this game. But the thing that led me to pick against them tonight, because I knew Joe was going to ball, because Baltimore's defense ain't shit either. Like, I've watched this defense this season, and while they've had some impressive beatdowns, Buffalo and Denver, Buffalo moved the football. They just made mistakes, missed opportunities, right? Denver moved the football, right? They couldn't find the end zone. That was their biggest issue. And then they ended up getting run out of the damn building. But in between those games, you will find opportunities where Baltimore's defense has been exposed this year. And so, why do you think they brought Dean Pease back to help out Zach Orr, right? Because this shit ain't been clean. And you saw Zach Orr's face at the end of this game. While they got that 2-point stop, he wasn't happy because he knows, once again, my defense let go of the rope. And this team barely got by, not because we made the stop after the offense bailed us out for the 15th time tonight, not because we made a stop and we stood up tall and did what we were supposed to do and held up our end of the bargain. We got bailed out by a bad decision by Cincinnati not going to their best player, who we couldn't stop all night long. So when you're watching this game and you're watching these two teams go at it, for me, this is something that is going to be really interesting to watch the rest of this season, because I think we watched 2 playoff teams tonight. I refuse to quit on Cincinnati. I really, really do refuse to quit on them, because Burrow is so good. And remember, mind you, he's doing this. Jamar Chase, like, this is the thing I struggle with Baltimore. If I'm going to get beat tonight, if I'm going to give up 34 tonight, it's going to have to be Yoshi Bosch. It's going to have to be the rookie. It's going to have to be Trent Irwin. Like, these are the guys. It's going to have to be Mike Gesicki. It's going to have to be Tanner Hudson. Like, these are the dudes that's going to have to beat me. You know who ain't going to beat me because there's no T. Higgins on the other side? You know who ain't going to beat me? Jamar Chase. That's who ain't going to beat me. Yet, somehow, some way, the best player on the field, not a quarterback tonight, had 11 catches for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. Somebody, anybody, make it make sense. Please. And this is why I don't buy Baltimore in the AFC, right? This is why I can't. They were much better defensively last year. Much better. And we knew there was going to be a step back with no Mike McDonald. We knew that. With no Jadeveon Clowney. With no Patrick Queen. We knew there was going to be a step back. With no Geno Stone. And not to say that Geno Stone, Geno Stone had like 7 interceptions last year, right? Right place, right time, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. But you moved on from a lot of guys. You lost your defensive coach. So there was a lot that had to be replenished and replaced, and it's not probably going to happen in 1 year. I get it. You got a lot of young guys out there. I get all of that. But this Ravens defense isn't great. The offense is exceptional. And special teams-wise, Justin Tucker isn't having one of those traditional Justin Tucker seasons. So it just feels like the Ravens could be vulnerable, which is why they've lost 3 games already this season and could have easily been swept. They swept Cincinnati and could have easily been swept by Cincinnati. They could be sitting here at 5-5 right now instead of 7-3. If we're being honest with one another. The whole fourth quarter, collapse, that's a real thing with this Baltimore Ravens team too. That's a real thing. No lead, much like San Francisco in the fourth quarter of games this season, no lead is safe with this Baltimore Ravens defense. They fight their asses off. They were down 21-7. They scored 21 unanswered points. The building, M&T Bank, is rocking. Lamar is cheesing, got the grills flashing. It's a party. And before this man could get a squirt of Gatorade, 70 yards. Jamar Chase, touchdown. 70 yards. The one guy on the field you can't let beat you, 70 yards, game time. I mean, you can't make this shit up. So, I said all of that to say this. Lamar Jackson is utterly ridiculous. Man is a 2-time MVP, and right now, how is he not 3-time MVP? As of right now, how is he not 3-time league MVP? What more can I say? Like, it's just different with him, man. He is truly a one of one. As much as I love my guy, and I think my guy is the closest thing you're going to get to Lamar, it's only one of those dudes. Lamar is a one of one, okay? He's playing at a different level, and it's a damn shame that this defense may waste what I think is his best season of his career. Like, I've always said that Lamar, when he develops and gets to the apex as a passer, that's going to be when the Ravens will be their most dangerous and he will be ready to win a Super Bowl. I felt like the last 2 MVP seasons, his legs were massive parts. And not to say that he still isn't using his legs. Obviously, one of the biggest plays of the night from a morale standpoint, offensively, came with him tightrope in the sidelines when it looked like every quarterback in the league would have either thrown it out of bounds or run out of bounds. That includes Jaden Daniels. There's no way Jaden's turning that corner and staying in bounds right there. Even though I've seen him do some tightrope work down the sideline, I don't think he's able to keep his, momentum from taking him out of bounds there. Just like I said, Lamar's one of one. His arm is what is been truly difference making this year. And he's been fun to watch. His evolution, the growth. There were plays, and Kirk Herbstreit made a big deal out of a play where Lamar rolls out to his right and stops as he approaches the line of scrimmage and looks down the field. Like, that's growth, right? He could have run for 6-7 yards on that play. But this iteration of Lamar is like, I'm going to let my arm do it because my arm can get us down the field a lot faster than my legs can. And even though that play ultimately ended up in I think an incompletion, or he actually cut it back, ran and picked up, maybe a yard or 2. It was just the thought of, hey, let me see if I can get something done down the field. Cam Taylor-Britt had a chance to wrestle back the momentum after the Jamar Chase interception, Jamar Chase touchdown, but he couldn't corral that interception. I thought one of the biggest plays early in the game was the Stevens interception that ended up being overturned because it went from interception, touchback, Ravens still had a timeout left with a chance to go down and maybe score a touchdown, even get field goal, whatever. this is a 7-7 ball game at the time, to overturn. Burrow gets the ball back. 5 plays later, touchdown. Halftime, 14-7 game. Then the Bengals tacked on another touchdown in the second half with another ridiculous Jamar Chase catch and run. And all of a sudden, it's 21-7. I mean, that's a big swing in the game, right? That's the second game this year that the Bengals have stopped Derrick Henry. Not many teams can say we put Derrick Henry in a vice grip. But the Bengals did it both times. Remember, he needed overtime and a big-ass run in overtime to make his first game against Cincinnati look respectable. No such luck tonight. They just put the vice grip on his ass. And he was a non-factor tonight. I honestly don't know what to say about Cincinnati's defense this year. I can't pinpoint why they suck ass. They can't stop anybody. I shouldn't say that. They stopped the Raiders last week. That might be it. I mean, the Giants and the Raiders are the two teams I think they held down this year. Everybody else is running up. Even Carolina scored about 24 points on these boys defensively. They stink on defense. And early on, it was excuses. Oh, we got this guy out. We got that guy out. You got everybody back now. Trey Hendrickson is leading the NFL in sacks. What's your excuse? I mean, all the linebackers are healthy. Mike Hilton's healthy. All the cornerbacks are out there. I mean, what the hell, bro? I mean, what do we, like, they can't cover anybody. That Tylan Wallace play was pathetic. You go from dominating this game, one turnover, and I get it, momentum is a sumbitch. I get it. But you went from dominating this game practically for 3 quarters defensively to giving up 28 points in the matter of what, maybe 16 minutes? When did the Ravens score that touchdown? See when that fumble took place. The fumble took place with 7 minutes and 5 seconds left in the third quarter. So roughly halfway through. You pretty much played excellent defense for the first 37 minutes of this game, roughly 38 minutes of this game, roughly. And then in the final 22 minutes of this game, you just went to hell in a handbasket defensively. The Ravens scored on their final 1, 2, 3, 4, their final 4 possessions. All touchdowns, by the way. I don't know what to say about Cincinnati's defense this year. It's the one reason why, if they don't make the playoffs, we'll go straight to their defense as the reason why they don't make the playoffs this year. It won't be Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow said, I'm playing the best football of my career. And keep in mind, like, he's doing this practically without T. Higgins this season. He missed the first 2 games. He came back. He played about 4 games. And then he's missed the last 3 games, right? Philadelphia game, Raiders game tonight. So he missed the first 2. He missed the last 3. And he played the 4 in between. Well, matter of fact, this is the 10th game of the season. So he missed the first 2, missed the last 3, and he played the 5 in between. And while T. Higgins has been solid, they're pretty much doing this without him. Like, this is them figuring out what life without T. Higgins looks like. They can survive. And other guys will eventually step up and step into bigger roles, and they'll be fine. But defensively, I think what has ultimately happened is, one, they're not getting enough pressure on the quarterback. It's Trey Hendrickson and nobody else. They get no interior pressure. Sam Hubbard is a waste. He does nothing other than maybe stop the run. He does do that, but he's not getting to the quarterback. And so they got no juice off the edge outside of Trey Hendrickson. They don't cover well in the secondary. They don't tackle well in the secondary. Clearly, we saw that on the Tylan Wallace, touchdown. We've seen them get, gashed this season. Various teams, same results. They struggle to do the little things right defensively. And again, when they're playing well, they look like a different team defensively. But I mean, Joe Burrow has 9 touchdown passes and no interceptions the last 2 weeks. How is it that you aren't 2-0 and back to 500? There's no excuse for that. Unbelievable. What a fun game, though. What a fun game. Man. And that one was a lot of fun. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the comment section. Before we do that, though, let's go ahead and go inside the odds, brought to you by Bet US.
Inside the odds.
Looking for a new book? Bet US has you covered. Fastest payouts in the industry. Get up to 10% back on your net losses twice a year, as long as you're active within a 6-month period. And here's the big kicker for new users. Use the promo code YouTube150 to get you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit of up to $2,000 and a 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. Everything that we're going to look at from an odds perspective, all brought to you by Bet US. So the line on this game was 6 for the 6 for the Baltimore Ravens. They were 6-point favorites. Joe Burrow is a covering machine when it comes to being a big dog. He did it again. He did it again. That was another reason why I was like, man, I'm leaning towards Cincinnati, but I'm like, their defense, I can't do it. That's the only thing that stopped me from picking. You know how I feel about Joseph R. Burrow. You know how I feel about Burrow. I talk about him all the time. He's one of them ones. Sometimes people try to discredit him. They try to forget. Y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot what Joseph R. Burrow is capable of. I knew the Ravens weren't winning this game by no damn touchdown. So I was like, they ain't covering this shit. Give me Cincinnati, and I thought about give me Cincinnati and give them to me outright. I thought about it, but it was their defense that scared me. I was like, nah, can't do it. Can't do it. But let's get into some real conversations here, right? All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the Thursday specials on Bet US. And they have some great specials, whether it's Thursday, Sunday. I love the Thursday and Monday specials in particular. These are always great because they get real specific. So let's look at the first special. Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, 6 passing and rushing touchdowns combined. So it's plus 225 on the money line. If you took it, you would have won. I mean, You didn't even need the rushing. Neither had rushing touchdown in this game. Both had 4 touchdown passes. So you would have had it right then and there. Right? Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, 600 yards combined passing on a money line, plus 450. Again, cha-ching, cash it in. If you put down $100, go get your 450. Go collect. All right. Because Joe Burrow went over 4 bills by himself. Lamar almost went for 3. I mean, 4 plus 6. 4 plus 2. I'm no math major, but 4 plus 2 is 6. Forget about the extra change. Just 4 plus 2 is 6. All right. 650. 800 plus 800 on the money line. Cha-ching. Go get your money. Money, 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 money. Money. Go get your money. Joe Burrow, what did he have tonight? 4 what? Joseph R. Burrow, 428. Lamar Jackson, 290. That's over 700 passing yards. Go get your money, man. Go get your money. Plus 800. Derrick Henry, plus 1 touchdown, 1 receiving touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. He had the rushing. He did not have the receiving touchdown. I would never bet on Derrick Henry to catch the football and score a touchdown. That's never a safe bet. Zay Flowers or Chase Brown to score the first touchdown of the game on Thursday, plus 350. Who scored the first touchdown? I don't think Zay Flowers didn't score a touchdown tonight. So, no, it wasn't him. The question was, Cincinnati scored the first touchdown. Who scored the first touchdown? I want to say it was Tanner Hudson who scored the first touchdown of this game. But don't get me to lying. Let's just check and see, right? It was, in fact, it was Chase Brown. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Chase Brown. First touchdown. 3 plus 350. Man, oh, man. If you were on these specials, let's see. Out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 specials that I just highlighted for you on BetUS, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them joints cashed out. So if you just put down $10 on each of these specials that we're talking about right now, $22.50 here, $45 here, 22 plus 45 is 67, $80 here, 80 plus 67 is 147, and then 35, that's $212, I believe. Or is that $202? 67 plus 30, $202, I think that is. And you would have lost $10 if you put down Derrick Henry. So roughly $200. We'll round it up. You would have won. Now, if you put down 100 on all of these, we talking about over $2,000 roughly in that neighborhood. It would have been a good night. Would have been a good night for some of y'all. I told you I love BetUS's specials on Mondays and Thursdays. You can get you some of this, and you get the right 2 quarterbacks. You can clean up like you had tonight. And then I want to talk about the AFC North real quick. This is for the division. Hey man, you put down $1 on the Cleveland Browns to win this division. You can win a lot of money if they come back and win it. Nah, I'm bullshitting. Ravens, obviously, even though they don't have the best record in that division, minus 190 are the favorites to win that division. And I think ultimately, when it's said and done, they're going to win that division. I don't buy the Steelers. They're plus 220 right now, and the Bengals are plus 900. And I would assume these odds were snatched up prior to tonight's game. So after this loss, I would assume that the Bengals odds have gone down even further with the loss tonight. But It's going to be interesting because the Steelers have not played a single divisional game this year, and they play the Ravens next week, and the Ravens will have 10 days to prepare for Pittsburgh. And they had a big loss tonight. Kyle Hamilton got injured. I don't know if he'll be ready to come back and help them in 10 days. So that's a big one there. But big win for the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're ultimately going to win that division when it's all said and done. But if you're Cincinnati, boy, that's a crusher. A lot of their losses this season have been one-score, games, losses within, 4 points or less. I think the Commanders game, the Patriots game in week 1 was what? What was that? 16-10, right? So that's less than a touchdown. Commanders game, they lost by 5, 38-33. Who did they lose to in week 3? Because I think they started the season off like what? 0-3 before they won their first game. I forget who they lost to in week 3. But it's a lot of close losses for them this season. And add this one, obviously they lost to the Ravens in week 5 in overtime by 3. And what's interesting, big shout out to BetUS. What's interesting as we get to the comment section, both of those games kind of flipped on Marlon Humphrey forced or induced turnovers. Remember, the Bengals were up 10 in the fourth quarter of the first game in Cincinnati in week 5, and he got the interception when they couldn't stop Cincinnati's offense. Baltimore, both teams were going up and down the field on each other's defense. Neither team could get a stop. And Cincinnati was going to score again. And they were going to keep, like, every time Baltimore got within a score, Cincinnati would stiff arm them and keep them at bay. Joe Burrow would take them right back down the field and they would score again. And they were prepared to do that. And then Marlon Humphrey picked off a pass. And then that allowed them to tie the game up, send it to overtime, and we all know what happened in the extra frame. Tonight, kind of the same premise. Baltimore is being dominated. They got really no offensive rhythm. Defensively, Joe Burrow is kind of having his way with them, even though the scoreboard isn't out of control, but they were down 21-7. And Marlon Humphrey reaches in, lawnmowers the football out of there from Chase Brown, and the game was never the same, right? Obviously, they score 21 unanswered points and end up taking the lead 28-21. So Marlon Humphrey, huge in both of these contests with some big turnovers that he was able to force to help the Ravens avoid, the loss in both of these games. Literally, you're probably a Marlon Humphrey turnover in each of those games away from being swept if you're the Baltimore Ravens. That's real talk. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the comment section. See what you guys are talking about. Michelangelo, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. Mob, you know what to do. Show Michelangelo some love. Welcome Michelangelo with open arms. Show him what it's like to be a member of the squad. Welcome to the squad, Michelangelo. Me 3J. Welcome. Stand up. You are now the newest member of the MOBB. Me 3J. Meet the mob. Mob, me 3J. Welcome to the squad. Glad to have you on board. Robbie Witherall, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, I think struck fear in the league. Hair Mary. You drinking with our friend Duncan Wright? You knocked back a couple brewskis tonight, Robbie? You good over there? I'm gonna blame yours on autocorrect on your mobile device. That's what we're gonna put that on. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Swaggy P, writes, Fireworks in the second half, and can't believe refs missed a PI, a defensive holding, and a face mask on that 2-point attempt. Yeah, they missed quite a bit on that play, but again, when you're if you're a fan, you're screaming, "Oh my God, the refs, the refs, the refs." If I'm a fan of, so for me as a outside observer and one that doesn't like to blame the refs, human error is a part of the game. Sometimes it favors you, sometimes it doesn't, right? It goes both ways. Normally the football gods balance the scales. So while it may not have benefited you this week or on that particular play, it did benefit you at some point earlier in the game, right? I'll give you a great example. Saquon Barkley didn't fumble against the Jaguars, but yet somehow replay missed that his ankle was touched by a defender prior to him fumbling the football. So he should have been down as soon as his knee hit the ground. Instead, they said that no one touched him. He fell on his own. And thus, that's a fumble, scoop, and score for Jacksonville. We all could see that that was the incorrect call. So what happens later in the game? A makeup call. That's not a touchdown. Everybody saw that Devontae Smith's knee was out of bounds when he caught that pass. That wasn't a damn touchdown. But they ruled it as such, right? Because you balance the scale. That's what the football gods do, right? Sometimes they give it, sometimes they take it away. When it's all said and done, it all balances out. You got a chance, however, to remove the officials from the equation by just throwing the ball to Jamar Chase. And in that situation, that's what they should have done. Did Mike Gesicki get molested? Yes. Did Joe Burrow get clubbed over the head? Yes. Why are we throwing the football to Tanner Hudson? I go back to that. Why did we call a timeout to see how the Ravens were aligning only to come back out and throw the football to Tanner Hudson? He never even looked at Jamar Chase. He was staring down Tanner Hudson the entire time. You would have thought he was waiting for Antonio Gates to whip out of that damn whip route and get outside to go make a play. You would have thought he was waiting on Travis Kelce to come out of that whip route. You would have thought he was waiting on Kyle Pitts or one of these athletically gifted. He was waiting on Tanner Hudson. That's what you staking potentially your season on? Tanner Hudson? I mean, I get it. It's easy to blame the officials, but that ain't how I would have drew it up. Some questionable decisions by Cincy head coach Taylor not kicking the field goals when they had the chance. I didn't mind those at all. He knew that field goals weren't going to win him the game tonight. It just wasn't going to happen. Tonight wasn't the night to be kicking field goals. And we saw what the game ultimately, ended up being. He came in with a purpose. He knew what the assignment was. We want to win this game. We got to score 30 plus. You don't score 30 plus in this league by kicking a bunch of field goals. I got no issues with him bypassing field goal attempts, going for it on fourth downs. Most of the time it benefited him. Like, I know one fourth down they didn't get that they had a turnover on downs. Was at midfield early in the game. I know another fourth down. You know what else I didn't like? I'm glad you helped me jog my memory a bit. You know what else that I didn't like? The Bengals had 3rd and 2. Joe Burrow takes a shot to Jamar Chase up the right sideline. They come back on 4th and 2, and Kirk Herbstreit said, "Yeah, once they took that shot, you knew they were going for it on 4th down." I'm like, okay, that's cool, because Joe gonna come back and get a 3-4 yard completion on 4th and 2 and get the first down. And then he takes a shot to the other side of the field to the rookie out of Alabama. And I'm like, why are you taking a shot to Burton on 4th and 2, bro? Just get the first down. And, a lot of times when you got one of them ones, you got to excuse that behavior because Joe is capable of hitting that deep shot. But in that situation, I'm just like, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. We don't need the jugular vein right here. We just need 2 yards, bro. Keep the drive alive. Live to fight another set of downs. So there were some questionable decisions, and you can't put all of that on Zach Taylor. Now, the 2-point conversion, I'm putting that on Zach Taylor because Joe Burrow, like, if I'm Joe Burrow, really, I need to put this on Joe. Because if I'm Joe Burrow, I don't give a shit what Zach Taylor called into the huddle. I don't give a damn. I get out there and I see one-on-one with my guy. I'm doing one of these hand signals, one of these shits that only we know, and we finna go cook. Let's go eat. I don't give a damn what the play call was. That shit is in the trash once I see I got one-on-one with Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you can blame Zach Taylor all you want. This one's, to me, this one's not on him. How about we play some damn defense? How about we get a stop? How about we don't give up 4 consecutive possessions with touchdowns? How about we don't give up an 84-yard touchdown on poor tackling? Joe Burrow threw 4 touchdown passes tonight. They were up 21-7. They had no business losing this game. But anyway, I digress. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, fantasy-wise, I'm happy with Henry, Burrow, and Chase. Henry really didn't move the needle for you, but he did score a touchdown. Those always help. But it was really all about Burrow and Chase. If you had them two, you might have already won your game this week in fantasy. I mean, one had 3 touchdowns. The other one had 4 touchdowns. One had 400 yards. The other one had 264 yards. One had 11 catches. Like, Joe Burrow's completion percentage wasn't the greatest. I go back to, my wife is like, damn, he always throw the ball that much? I'm like, not always. I said the run game has been really stagnant and non-existent this year, though. Like, Chase Brown had a good game last week against the Raiders, but for the most part, the run game really ain't hitting on shit. So Joe, in the checkdowns, in the quick hitters, the stick routes, you know, the hitches, those have become the extension of the run game. So he had quite a bit of, you know, incompletions tonight. You know, it wasn't a great completion percentage for Joseph tonight, but he was really good. He was really good. And I think you might have already won your fantasy game this week with just those two in particular. Duncan Wright, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, you talk your big next. Uh-oh. Duncan, come on. Hand me the beverage. Come on. Nope. Hand me the beverage. Come on. Hand it over. All right. Come on. That's right. Walk it off. Go ahead. Walk it off. Go get some water. Walk it off. I'll see you next week. Walk it off. JLG, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I was wrong about the Ravens unis. Nothing better than looking good while you're winning. Look, man, I was going to bring it up. I'm glad you did. Them shits was crispy. I knew they were going to be dope when I saw them, you know, modeling those in the offseason. I'm still waiting on those Vikings Winter Warrior joints with the white helmets. Those are going to be pretty crispy, but those delivered tonight. How y'all feel about those all purple alt unis for the Ravens with the alt logo on the helmet? A lot of people were disappointed with the alt logo on the side of the helmets. Had no issues with that. That shit was crispy. But my wife told me that JJ Watt said that they look like a Crown Royal bottle cover. You know, the little string cover that they put the Crown Royal in. I was like, he's not wrong, right? He's not wrong. That's a good one. Good one, JJ. Good one. But I thought they were dope as F. They were clean, boy. Them shits was crispy. A Most teams this year who have thrown on alternate unis, they haven't missed. The Green Bay all whites. The Detroit black joint. Wow, those were awesome. Houston's gonna be rocking their red uniforms with the red helmet. With the alt red helmet, I think them shit's gonna be clean as a whistle come Sunday night against Detroit. I don't know if I've seen a team miss yet this year with these alt unis. Nike is doing a hell of a job, I must say. Touche, Nike. Touche. I'm with you, JLG. Nothing better than looking good and winning. Duncan Wright, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Uh-oh. You guys are the darlings. You beat us and become monsters. You will demand respect, and you will get it. You scrubs, by the way, vodka. Yeah, man. Yeah, that vodka is setting in heavy. Heavy, man. Hand it over. You had enough. All right, I'm throw in the goddamn towel. Like that meme from Rocky. We gonna throw the towel in, man. I'm throw the towel in for you, man. Hand it over. Hand it over. Duncan Wright, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Duncan writes, Eagles are real, Commanders are frauds. I rule. Great. That's awesome, Duncan. All right. I'm so happy for you. You've turned into a Burger King commercial. You rule? Great. Ray Riz, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ray Riz writes, Lou, that breakaway speed by Chase on that 67-yarder, oh my Jesus. Impressive. Terry would have gotten tripped up. I love Terry, but we need a game changer like that. First of all, game changers like Jamar Chase don't grow on trees, Ray Riz. You got like everybody in the league got one of them. Jamar Chase is creme de la creme, top of the pile, right? Some people prefer Justin Jefferson. Give me Jamar Chase. Give me Jamar Chase. Because Justin Jefferson ain't running away from everybody like that on that play. He's not going to turn on the afterburners. He's not that fast, right? Justin Jefferson is a different animal in his own right. And they're 1A, 1B, right? You understand why Joe Burrow turned in the greatest college football season these eyes have ever seen. He had Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase as his two receivers, all right? And the other receiver that ended up going to Carolina, Terrence Marshall, not that damn bad either, right? To have him as your third option. So you see why Joe Burrow did what he did. But Chase is the best receiver in the NFL, if you ask me, because of that play that you're talking about right there. His ability to go run after the catch. There's nobody in the league better. That's that Odell Beckham Jr. shit. When he was at his best, Odell Beckham Jr., shame on you if you step to the old dirty Beckham. ODB, catch a slant, murk. Catch a comeback, murk. That's the second time Jamar Chase has done that to the Ravens this season, where he's caught underneath pass and murked on him. That shit was a thing of beauty because guys had angles and he just outran them. Terry would have never turned up the field and gotten past defenders like that. We haven't seen that kind of burst in terms of run after catch from Terry since his rookie season. That's on the real side. And we all know all somebody got to do is dive at Terry's ankles and he's going to get tripped up. Till that doesn't happen, that's the rule with Terry. Just dive at his ankles. You'll get him on the ground. But you say we need a game changer like that. You know, those only come in the top 5 of the draft normally, right? Those kind. Like Justin Jefferson was the 22nd pick, I believe. But he ain't catching a dig route and murking on everybody. He ain't doing that. It ain't too many dudes in the league doing that. I think Jamar Chase might be the only, and Tyreek Hill Might be the only two dudes that can do what he did on that play. They the only two receivers that can do that. Maybe Jalen Waddle. Maybe. But it's really Jamar Chase and Tyreek Hill. The only two that's going to catch a pass like that and run by everybody, even though you got angles. 3 dudes got different angles, and none of them even lay a finger on them. Barry Curtis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Barry Curtis, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, or got exposed. A good DC isn't allowing Jamar Chase to do that as the only healthy weapon. Look, it's easier said than done to shut a guy like Jamar Chase down, but damn it, if I ain't going to die trying, I'm going to throw every defensive weapon I have at stopping him, and I'm going to make the others, as Shaq likes to say, beat me. I'm going to make the others beat me. It's going to have to be Andre Yoshivash. It's going to have to be the rookie from Alabama, Burton, right? It's going to have to be Mike Gesicki. It's going to have to be Tanner Hudson. It's going to have to be Trent Irwin. It's going to have to be Chase Brown out of the backfield because it ain't going to be Jamar Chase. I remember I used to say the same thing when it came to the Green Bay Packers. When they had Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers and then a bunch of other dudes. And I'm like, how is it that you continuously let Aaron Rodgers go to Devontae Adams and get you for 9 catches, 147 yards, and 2 touchdowns? How is it when they don't have anybody else? That always boggles the mind, but it's easier said than done, right? It's easier said than done to stop a receiver because if they're on the same page, and some of those plays, like the 64 or 70, 67 yard, whatever it was, catch and run, that was Joe Burrow, right? Stepping up and stepping through, getting all the way up close to the line of scrimmage. Jamar Chase working with him and having that chemistry. He was running the opposite direction. Stop, turn, pivot, came back across the other way, and Joe got it to him in stride. Like, that wasn't a design play. That was, hey, we improvising. So even if you had the right type of defense initially, which he was open on the initial dig, but Joe was running for his life at that point. The plan was never good. The plan was trash. I mean, you score the touchdown to take the lead. You haven't led all game long. Not at no point tonight have you led. You finally take the lead. Everybody's smiling. The stadium is rocking. And the first play, you give up a 70-yard touchdown strike to the one guy that's already been eating your lunch all day long. No, I don't want to give you my lunch money. And you're going to let this man get you for a 70-piece? On one play? Yeah, Zach Orr straight tripping. Straight tripping tonight. Straight tripping. Glizzy McGuire, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Lou, we handed out burgundy towels in 2016 too, by the way. Prove it. Prove it. I know no such thing. I've never heard of a such thing. If we did, there must have been 60% Steelers fans because all I saw was white, yellow towels, terrible towels on that night. So again, you might be right. I ain't calling you a liar. I'm just saying I don't recall. I don't recall. Run it back again. This time is different. Because it's gonna be more Commanders fans than it is Steelers fans, and we're gonna represent, and we're gonna drown out them terrible towels, or we're gonna make it look like a beautiful unison, orchestrated type of deal, right? LT, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. LT writes, how many points you expect to put up versus Pitt and Philly defenses? The goal is 30 every game, 30 plus every game. I know we putting up 30 on your defense. I can't speak for Pittsburgh's defense. We're going to see. Because you don't got the pass rush that they got. They got a pass rush that can affect the game. So we'll see. But we putting up 30 on y'all for sure. The question is, defensively, can we stop y'all from scoring 30? Because we might have to win a shootout. which we are prepared to do if that is what it comes down to. We are prepared to do that. Duncan Wright, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Duncan writes, next Thursday, you and Dallas season is over. Okay. You may thank us all, you scrub wives. Go. Hey, didn't I ask you to hand me the vodka bottle? Didn't I ask you that 3 super chats ago? I asked you to hand me the bottle, right? Come on, man. Friends know when to say when, right? Hand me the bottle, man. Come on. Come on, Duncan. It's for your own good. Black Al B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. The Black Al B writes, Lou, I swear you should be a comedian. The 70-yard touchdown to Chase had me dying, LOL. Bro, I don't understand. I don't understand how you can let this man get loose on you like that. Get down, get up, get down, get funky, get loose. How you gonna let this man get loose on you for 70? You know how hard the Ravens fought to take the lead? and before Lamar looked over and said, what the? Grab your helmet, bro. You going back on the field, man. The only people who weren't excited about that touchdown on the Bengals sideline was the defense. It's like, bro, we just got off the field. Are you kidding me? We are dog-ass tired. We've been on the field the entire second half since that damn Chase Brown fumble. Are you kidding me? We thought we were going to have a chance to recharge the battery. We got to go back out there again. And, of course, they gave up a touchdown. They were dog-ass tired. They were the only ones on that Cincinnati sideline like, yo, this is some bullshit. Joe Rockhead, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Joe Rockhead writes, would you leave Lattimore alone on Jamar Chase? Yeah. That's why you traded all them picks. Yes, that's exactly why you bought him to Washington. To be able, I'm not telling you he can't get work, but he's a dog ass competitor and he's gonna fight. That's why you bring a guy over. Now, am I telling you that I'm gonna leave him with him all game long by himself? Probably not. But if you think your guy is capable, which we think Marshawn Lattimore is capable, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Best on best. That's what it's supposed to look like. Best on best. Duncan Wright, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Duncan writes, what? The Commanders called me Burger King rule. Yeah. You talking Burger King over there, man. Yeah. Yes, I deliver the burger truth. You will not beat us, and that's the truth. Hey, look, at least the super chats have been somewhat coherent. Now, the actual statements may not make sense, but they're actual real words. It's not like it normally is. So I can respect that. But the fact remains, I still need you to hand me the bottle, man. That still needs to take place. Again, it's for your own good. Friends know when to say when. Please, let me help you. Help yourself. Anyway, I digress. Let me see. I might grab a couple comments here before we get out of here. Let's grab maybe one or two, and then we'll get out of here. Samuel S. writes, if the Bengals had the record we have, Joe Burrow would be running away with the MVP right now. I don't know if he would be running away with it, but he would definitely be the front runner right now. I mean, he's playing excellent football. It's a shame that his defense is literally playing double agent right now. everything that he does, the defense undoes. Like, he goes out, makes a play, they undo it. And it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame, but not my problem, right? Joe Rockhead, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? For comedic purposes alone, I almost wish we were wearing the black unis. Yeah, we taking your black and the dub. Nah, that would have been confusing. I mean, not really. We know which is which, and they'll be wearing their white unis with the gold pants, or the yellow pants rather. But we already got fans that feel like we look too much like the Steelers when we wear our blacks. So it would have been interesting, but I don't want that kind, like, that's the one time you're not allowed to wear it is when you're playing the Steelers. You know? So yeah, it would be, like you said, for comedic purposes, it would be hilarious to see that though. I do agree with you from that standpoint. Would be actually pretty funny to see that take place. All right. Kevin, the PRF. Refs calling everything under the sun to get the Bengals down the field, then missed 19 calls on the last play alone. Red zone reffing needs to be studied. They did call a lot of penalties, but like I said, a lot of them were like legitimate. Like Marlon Humphrey literally yanks the man down by his face mask. That's a 15-yard penalty, right? And then, you know, I hate when the game, like, I'm not saying anarchy should be allowed to take place at the end of a game or on pivotal plays. Not suggesting that anarchy be allowed to take place, but I would prefer you not throw the flag. Like, I hated the first, now it was a flag, but the first fourth down of the game that the Bengals went for, and Jamar Chase was held, and they called pass interference. It was the right call. I just hate that. I hate when that you get bailed out by a call by the official, but it was the right call. It was the right call. I would prefer you not throw the flag, if at all possible. It was warranted, and it should have been thrown on that 2-point conversion. Like everyone said, last they pointed out, 2 or 3 different infractions on one play. Hard to not throw the flag on at least one of them, right? At least one of them. But again, it's Mike Gesicki, it's Tanner Hudson. Had it been Jamar Chase, they would have thrown the flag, right? Which is why you got to go to your best player in that situation and force them. It's just like at the end of an NBA game. You could settle for the step back jumper. They're not calling a foul on that, though. You want to go to the rim? Referee could swallow his whistle, but make him make a call, right? Make him make a call. Make the officials make a call. If you throw it to Jamar Chase, you got a better chance of getting a flag thrown than throwing it to Tanner Hudson. I can't let that go, all right? I can't let that go. Anyway, I digress. NRG, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. Mob, you know what to do. Show NRG some love. Welcome NRG with open arms. Welcome to the squad, NRG. All right. That is going to do it. Oh, no, it's not. JLG, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. All right, so I'm not going to lie. If Lamar stands in the pocket any longer, they might have to give him a pitch clock. How does he and Jaden make the game look so easy? It's simple. You can't rush them like you rush everybody else. Because if you're too aggressive, you fly up the field, guess what they're going to do? They're just going to escape up the A gap. They're going to escape up the B gap. All right? So you can't rush crazy because if you run around them, they're just going to run right up the middle, right? So you try to keep them in that cup, right? So you kind of got this mush rush. Don't really want to rush them. Trying to collapse the pocket, close it in with you. But then if you get too reckless, you try to run stunts like, okay, so they get you up to the A gap or the B gap, and they get you for a 12 or a 15, or something ridiculous, or even just a 7 or 8, and they got you with that 2 or 3 times. Now we're going to run a little twist and stunts. But guess what? If your ass don't come back looping around to the outside, all they're going to do is take off on the outside, right? Can't blitz. Because if you blitz, they can beat you with their arm. But also, if you blitz and they find a seam, who the hell is catching them, right? So you got to be careful. And that's why you see those types of quarterbacks standing back there forever. Because you got to be careful with how you rush. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Duncan Wright. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Duncan Wrights. You really think you can beat the Eagles? Did we stutter? But y'all undefeated? Last time I checked, you almost lost to Jacksonville just the other day. Somebody supposed to be scared of y'all? This ain't 2022, bro. Think you might be stuck in the past. Wake up. Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, Lou, I don't give a F. I know it's family business with these cats, but we look good against these brothers. Ballin'! Let's get it, Lou. Again, the most important fight is the one that we're currently in. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 6-2 on the season, at 1:05 p.m. on Sunday afternoon at Northwest Stadium. That is my focus right now, not the Philadelphia Eagles. So I understand, we're getting dangerously close to that game, and I can't wait for that one either, but I'm just as excited for this one against the Steelers because we got a chance to get to 8-2 for the first time since 1986. Okay? My birth year. I'm trying to get some of that action. Okay? I'm trying to get some of that action. So, excuse me for being focused on the task at hand. That's what I'm on, personally. That's what I'm on. So, we'll see what happens. Then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We're just a week away. This time next week, we should be celebrating a win over the Eagles and continuing our dominance of the NFC East this season. After not winning a game last season in the division, I'm looking for the clean sweep of the division. I wonder has that ever been done? The year prior, no division wins. The next year, you win all of your division games. I wonder if that's ever been done in NFL history. Probably has been done. My guess is. It's not too many things that haven't been done in NFL history. But I wonder if that's been done before. Anyway, I digress. Want to give a quick shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this stream. Head over to betus.com. Use the promo code YouTube150 to get you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit of up to $2,000 and 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000. Once again, when you use the promo code YouTube150. What a game. What a thriller in Charm City as the Baltimore Ravens complete the season sweep over the Cincinnati Bengals in an epic thriller, 35-34. These two teams went at it twice this season, and both of those games will be among the best games of the 2024 NFL season when it's all said and done. If you put together a compilation of the best games, those 2 games are definitely on the list as of right now. Theatrics late. This was a slow game in the first half, 14-7 at halftime. Fumble happened midway through the third quarter, and a damn football game broke the hell out. And boy, did it ever. And it ended up landing us at 34-35 with a 2-point conversion. Failed being the difference in the outcome. Bengals had a chance to get to 500 on the season. I still think they're a playoff team. You can't convince me that the Jets are better than Cincinnati. You can't convince me that any of the other teams, the Chargers aren't better than Cincinnati. Sorry, they're not. But here's the problem. I don't think the Broncos, the Chargers, or the Jets, who are all wild card contending teams, are better than Cincinnati. Here's the problem. Cincinnati doesn't play any damn defense, and the Chargers do, and the Broncos do. And hell, even to a lesser degree, the Jets do. And the Jets have a weaker schedule, you know, a bunch of winnable games. And if you're Cincinnati, I don't know what to tell you, because you got to find ways to win some of these games. Now, you don't see these guys again, but you haven't played Pittsburgh at all this season. And if you can't stop Pittsburgh from scoring, they're not going to allow you to do this. I don't think they're going to allow you to do this. You know, score 34 and 38, 72 points combined in the 2 games. That's what Baltimore or the Ravens scored, or excuse me, Cincinnati scored against Baltimore. 72 points in the 2 games. They averaged 36 points in their 2 contests and lost both of them. Can't make this stuff up. Cannot make this stuff up. Ravens complete the season sweep, get to 7-3 on the season, keep their hopes of being the number 1 seed in the AFC, winning their division. All that stuff is alive and well. You lose this game, you drop to 6-4. You can pretty much cancel Christmas on getting the number 1 seed. It's still going to be tough because the Chiefs own the tiebreaker, right? But at 7-3, the Chiefs could theoretically lose 4 games down the stretch. Probably won't happen, but they definitely ain't losing 5. I'll tell you that right now. So you needed to win that game. If nothing else, get the number 2 seed. Still got to deal with Houston and some other teams that are playing good football. Buffalo as well, even though you've beaten them and own the tiebreaker over them. Keep yourself alive for that 2nd seed. So if it does come down to, you know, somebody else outside of Kansas City, you got the home game, right? Could come down to you and Buffalo in the divisional round. You don't want to have to go to Orchard Park. You want them to come to M&T Bank, right? This game keeps you in line with that. You know, can't keep dropping games. So this was a big one for Baltimore as they go to 7-3 on the season. They did have a big loss in this game. Kyle Hamilton went down with an ankle. He'll have 10 days to recover to see if he can be ready for the Steelers game. I highly doubt it, but I'm no doctor, and I didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn last night. But that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. Until next time, as I told you guys, I'm going to be out of the office this weekend. So I'm going to try to leave you guys a couple of vids to get you through the weekend until I return on Sunday. But this was a hell of a game. Wow. Anyway, you guys enjoy. Take care. God bless. And good night.